Hi everybody, thanks for joining us again at BACC Talk. We are here today with Rick Parker, who is the president of the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce. You know, we've always said it makes sense. We want to bring to you all different things that are related to Burlington and the community around Burlington. And the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce is really excited about this show. This is our second episode, and would not be possible with all of the different things that we've done to not do it without Rick. So it made sense to have as one of our first guests on the show, second to Scott, is Rick Parker, who again is not only the president of the Chamber, but a lifelong resident of Burlington.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Sonia.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you. You know, I always tell people there was a transformation that happened with the Chamber a few years ago when you took the reins, and we're grateful for that. You've seen a lot of different things. But before we do that really quickly, it's important for people to know you're dedicated to the community through your job, but you're also dedicated because you've lived here all your life, yes?
Absolutely. I've lived here all my life. I had a real strong connection to the town when my kids were in school, and you know, I coached sports, but I really looked for an opportunity to get back involved with the community, and I found my way to the Chamber, and the rest is history.
It's been good history. So the other part that I think is important for people to understand is you were also a business owner in Burlington.
Yes, I've actually been a small business owner 3 times over. I call it the entrepreneurial curse. It's one of those things where you feel like you want to be involved, you want to be in charge, and I've learned a lot of powerful lessons through being able to run 3 businesses, and the lessons that I've learned, I'm able to share some of the information with people on the good and the bad, but it also is easy to speak from a perspective of someone who's been there.
Absolutely. So, you know, going back to that, and let's talk about the Chamber for a bit. Obviously, we all know the passion of it. We do a lot in the town for it, and we volunteer with it. But if someone were to ask you, you know, what does the Chamber of Commerce do? What does the Chamber of Commerce do?
Well, that's a great question, because a lot of people really don't know what a Chamber of Commerce is. If you look at people who are 50 plus, they think a Chamber of Commerce is somebody that you call when you go to travel. Before the advent of the internet, that's really what you needed the Chamber of Commerce when you went to travel, to see where to stay, where to eat. But a Chamber of Commerce, it's a business association with no connection to government. We actually bridge the gap between government and the community and the business community. But it's a business association, it's a member-based organization, and we do a lot of things from helping people, you know, grow their business, but also look at some of the larger problems that affect businesses, and we focus on those challenges together. Things like transportation, workforce development, regulatory issues. We actually have a seat at the table and are able to advise our members and get them information that they might not be able to get otherwise.
I love that you say that, because businesses, the problem with being a small business owner, or even some of the larger companies, you don't have the time sometimes to get that involved and to hear everything that you need to hear, that things that affect your business and affect the community. So that's where the Chamber kind of comes in and helps.
Yeah, the Chamber really, again, as a collection of all these businesses and organizations, we have a lot of very smart people that are in positions in companies, have been there for a long period of time. Small business owner today suffers from information overload. The internet is great where you can search for anything, but it's very difficult to get an answer that's going to be the one that satisfies the business owner, knowing that they're covered. So by reaching out to fellow business owners and people who've been in the industry for some period of time, there's usually someone there that has an answer or can point them in the right direction. Right. So it's very satisfying for small business owners to know that there's somebody that's actually on their team.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about the membership. What does that look like? I mean, I'm not talking in numbers, Rick. I'm talking more like, you know, when you think about who joins the Chamber of Commerce, who is that?
Well, it represents a cross-section of anybody that's in the greater Burlington area. Certainly a lot of small businesses, ones that are looking to get that connection to some of the larger businesses in town. Mm-hmm. The larger businesses are the ones that, you know, need help connecting to the community. And then there's educational institutions, service organizations. It really runs the gamut of businesses from the one person to the mom and pop to some of the larger companies that you see in town, like Oracle, Keurig, and Leahy.
Yeah, you know what, I have to commend you and quite frankly a great volunteer team, right? And you have Janet at the office, and you have Katie who does the marketing, and I think when you see the amount of things that come out of the Chamber of Commerce, our Chamber of Commerce, it's impressive based on what we have coming out of the office. And then you've this great volunteer effort that happens around from different people joining different organizations, not organizations, I'm sorry, different committees. So what I love about that is it fosters a teamwork that really almost mimics the work they do within their own companies,
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't have put it better. The real success of any organization of this caliber with the cross-section you have is teamwork.
Yeah.
We have a great staff, and you mentioned, Janet and Katie are phenomenal. But the teamwork that we have from people who get involved in committees, people that can see the benefit of standing up with your peers and taking a leadership role and really exposing your company to the greater business community, but also showing that you're a leader among business people. It really is really the strength of any organization. The Chamber is no exception. Our strength is in our members.
Yeah, and the membership is solid. And I think the energy that's been coming from the Chamber has not only helped them do better business, but I think it's really shown the community, that we're not the old Chamber anymore. We're not a Chamber that people used to remember. We're a Chamber that is energized, a Chamber that talks government, a Chamber that talks charitable things, a Chamber that cares about doing business in town and the people that come in and out of the town.
Yeah, well, I think one of the most rewarding things is to see business people that are lifelong Burlington residents,
Yeah.
that really care about having a successful economy, and that's really what the business community does here, is they create jobs and contribute to the tax base, but to then see Burlington residents that understand that balance and that we have so many great services from the town here. I mean, I love living in Burlington. Most of the people I talk to absolutely adore living here.
Yes.
And to get that connection between the community and the business community, it's a special place to be. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I got to give you credit. It's I enjoy being involved in the Chamber. I enjoy being in Burlington, and it's like the perfect match. The energy that the Chamber sees and that we bring out to the community, I think matches what the membership feels, and it matches what Burlington is. It's what makes Burlington the community that it is. Having said that, you do know that the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce has heartfelt charitable partnerships with a lot of different nonprofits in the area. One of our breaks, or one of our things that we do all the time with BACC Talk, is highlight our nonprofit members. This month we are highlighting HELPIS, and HELPIS is a very thoughtful organization that has just been acknowledged by the governor as having the May being the act of giving, the month of giving.
The month of
I want to make sure I
kindness.
say that right, the month of giving, right. So we'll be right back. Please join us in our second segment. Right now, just hear a word from our charitable partner, HELPIS. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce for inviting HELPIS to participate in the Charitable Partnership Program. My name's Robin Tyree. I'm the treasurer of HELPIS, and this is Joyce Delianis, our founder. HELPIS bridges the gap between need and help. There are so many people in need, but there are also so many people who want to help but don't know how, and that's where we come in. Through these efforts, and with the help of our supporters, we've been able to help thousands of people over the past 7 years. $600,000 worth of hair services were provided to military and unemployed, for example. Our missions are dual track. One is to encourage and promote good and charitable deeds by groups and individuals for the purpose of helping someone in need. Our second is to create the first observation of HELPIS, Help Me Help Someone, celebrating a spirit of sharing during the month of May, giving help and saluting those who promote generosity and kindness. Our goals now are to challenge people during the month of May to perform an act of kindness and pay it forward. Grow the month of May scholarship fund so we're able to award 31 scholarships for each of the 31 days of May to children coming out of foster care or other children at risk. And to bring the month of May to a national level after having the month of May approved by Governor Baker as the month of celebration of kindness.
The month of celebration of kindness. That's what I meant to say. If you've never met two of the most energetic people, they just exude good energy, right?
Yeah.
HELPIS is outstanding.
They were one of the reasons that caused us to look at who our charitable organizations were in the Chamber. These people are doing great work, and a lot of times it's a small organization having a difficult time getting that connection to the business community. So we formed the Charitable Partnership Program to bring together these 8 organizations initially that were the charter of the members, to make that connection between the charitable organization and the businesses looking to either contribute in a financial way or with sweat equity. I've often said that that the job of a chamber is really just connecting dots. And when it comes to charitable organizations, you find that they're rooted in care and giving, and in not necessarily the best marketers, but when we created the Charitable Partnership Program and then the Black Tie Gala that we had, was a phenomenal night where the business community came together, supported 8 individual charities, and it was just, it was a wonderful night. And while we're talking about it, January 20th, 2018, mark your calendars.
You don't want to miss it.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's funny because it was that whole leap of faith that we didn't know how well it would come off, and people had a great time that night, and you absolutely do not want to miss it this coming year. I think the charities really highlighted themselves beautifully in that, but the other part that I loved was that it really shows how benevolent the businesses are. You know, people come to do business in town and around town, but that doesn't mean that they don't appreciate what's going on in the community. The Chamber's given them that vehicle to do that with the Charitable Partnership, and I think it's really great. You look at something like the Harold DeLong Scholarship and the amount of scholarships we've given to Burlington students.
Right.
You know, another phenomenal thing in Londana's, who donates the lunch so that we can then have, we can then have this event there. I mean, talk about some of the events, Rick, because, and we'll save the taste for a little bit later, but talk about some of the other things that have come about and the events that we do. It's really a pretty big undertaking for the events committee.
Yeah, I think, well, starting at the grassroots part of it. Networking is a big part of what a chamber does in order to give some of the smaller businesses more exposure, give them the ability to grow their networks. We've had, I think over the past year, we had 160 events, and that involves, networking events, ribbon cuttings, educational seminars. We actually do candidates forums. When there's an election coming up, we try to host a candidates forum to allow both the business community and the residential community to come out and ask questions.
Yeah.
So we host that. We really try to be that dot connector. I think with events, we've certainly at each one of the events, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Melissa O'Dowd, who's the chair of our events committee. Each one of our events has grown astronomically in the past 2 years, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind
Absolutely.
it. These things don't happen, on their own. But we try to find an event that will work for everybody. There are some people who are in businesses that are, business to business, so they're looking for those larger events that may attract some of the bigger businesses. And then there's also business to consumer events and things like the Taste of Burlington, the Spring Soiree, where we really connect to the community. The greatest thing about the business community here is we find the more that we're involved, they're Burlington residents. They're people who spend their entire life within the confines of Burlington, aside from going to the ocean once in a while. We haven't got the ocean yet.
Yeah.
Or the mountains.
You never know.
Yeah, but we don't have a charge for parking still.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's something for everyone in the events that we hold.
There really is, and I think the greatest part is some of them, because they tie in the residential base. I think sometimes we forget, and I'm a resident, you're a resident, but we sometimes forget that some of these people who are working here, they spend more hours in Burlington in the course of a day than they do in their own hometown. So they take ownership of the community like it's their own. And it's nice to kind of tie in and meld the two. Dot connector is a good word, because then people understand. And they see them for a person, as opposed to just someone maybe presenting in front of town meeting or presenting in front of a board, or seeing them briefly on BACC and hearing one little thing that they say. They see them as the person that they are. And I don't know, I mean, between the charitable partnerships and the events that they are, you get to see a taste of a variety of different businesses, a variety of different sizes, and you get to meet people personally.
Right, and I think, one of the things that we've really focused on in the past 2 years is providing something of value to everybody. When I talk to some of these small business owners, you hit it right on the head. They spend most of their awake life in their business here in Burlington.
Right.
And when I ask them about their community, they don't really have that connection to their own community, because they're spending their time here. And this is where they want to have a picture of who they are,
Right.
shown to both the business and residential community, because this represents their business, their life, and it really shows who they are as people. So they get actively involved in events that happen in the community.
Right, absolutely. And, the events, like you said, over the last 2 years have done remarkable things. Melissa's done a great job. She's got a great committee around her. And the energy there is really kind of remarkable, because we know that it's going to come together, and you get that feeling, but there are those, should we call them hairy moments?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so there are those hairy moments where you're wondering, if it's going to go. And then I have to say, we're sitting in BCAT. They support us every time. They always come out and cover our events. They always help us promote the events. And you can't do it. It's a joint effort. You can't do it without everybody.
It absolutely takes a village to put these things on. One of the great things is that we have a great line of communication between ourselves, the town, BCAT, who is there most of the time filming what's going on, and the residential community. We're very approachable. So when people say, hey, what do you think about this idea? We certainly, we listen, and if it makes sense, we move towards it. So we couldn't do it. It takes a village, and we're lucky to have a very, very good village that we live in and work in.
Yeah, it's nice because you have different committees, and for those watching, whether you're a resident in the community or a business owner in the community, you can be involved in the chamber. It really is something. There is something in there for everyone, and while it's membership based, you don't really feel that all the time. You're paying a membership, and you're there in theory for your business and for doing business. But it's kind of remarkable because then it becomes a friendship. I was at a meeting this morning with a bunch of the ladies from the chamber, and Lisa Healy, who is a Paycheck's a huge supporter, right? But Lisa Healy, who spends most of her hours in Burlington, God bless her, but doesn't live in Burlington, at one point was trying to tell somebody about the events and things in the chamber and said, I really see it as they're my friends now, and if you don't know how to network, or if you don't know how to reach out to proper charities, proper would be the wrong word, if you don't know how to reach out to the right charity for what you're trying to do, if you don't know how to find the right business or get the right referral or learn how to network properly, you should go to the chamber. The chamber will help you do that, and there's a dedication. We always talk about how you got to want to be involved, right? So
and
that dedication happens.
I couldn't be prouder of what we consider to be the inner circle of the chamber. And they got there because they want to be involved.
They're
hard. Very hard workers, and they care. They care
right.
about other people. You can't teach people that. They either have it or they don't. And we're very fortunate to have a great inner circle.
We are. So with that, we'll be back in a little bit. We'll talk to you about my favorite subject, food, and the Taste of Burlington, which is coming up. But first, upcoming events for the BACC. We'll be back in a minute with Rick Parker. Okay, we're back. That was a quickie. Don't forget, the golf tournament's coming up. It's going to be a great event. It always is. Brendan Stapleton heads that along with Melissa O'Dowd, so we're excited about that one.
Yep,
the weather will...
Monday, May 15th, the weather will hold out for
cooperate.
us. Well, the Chamber of Commerce, you hear about Chamber of Commerce weather. We do have that switch, and we'll turn it on for the golf tournament. We've been very fortunate for the past few years to have it at Thompson Country Club in North Reading. Again, we're being sponsored by Herb Chambers of Burlington. Very generous, and the event is one of my favorites because it's really one of those times you can just relax for the day and be around great people.
Yeah, and I have to say, if you're like me and not maybe the best golfer, although I played my best round last year. Did I tell you that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, I played my best round last year. I'll tell you about it another time. But I will say that you don't have to worry about that because people aren't there. While it is a tournament, while there are prizes, everybody's there to have a good time and to do well by the chamber and just, again, good networking.
Yes, and this year we proud to have the UDT Seal Association be the beneficiary of one of our charity holes. They were, again, in the Charitable Partnership program. But it's a great event. It's as close as we get to not working, but it is work, and we're out there making new friendships with people that you might not have seen at any of these other events, because some of the golfers that come out for this are good golfers, and then there's people like you and me.
Like me, right? Exactly. We would be something better than bad.
That's debatable.
All right, we'll go there. So join us for that. That's on the 15th. Might be someone's birthday, too. Might be someone's birthday that day. You never know. All right, my favorite subject, food. So tell the truth, Burlington's like a mecca now of restaurants.
I must say that anytime that I'm outside of the town,
yeah,
the first question I get is, oh my God, there's so many restaurants. Who should I go to? And then it's usually about a 5-minute conversation saying, well, what kind of food do you like? Who's going? Are there any allergies? Are you bringing kids? There is absolutely something for everyone.
Yeah.
And there is a buzz from the Greater Burlington restaurant industry competes directly with Boston. And some of the chefs that are out here in Burlington certainly rival the quality of those in Boston, and we're very proud of what's going on in the Greater Burlington area.
Yeah, I remember some of them when they're first opening, and then there's always that discussion like, when is there too many? And knock on wood, that hasn't come yet because the diversity is there of the different restaurants and all of the different people that are going to it, based on the businesses we have in the community, and then the residential base. It's keeping them all busy, but the food is outstanding, and we're lucky to have such great partners in the restaurants who've joined the Chamber, which brings us to Taste of Burlington. How great is the Taste of Burlington? This year it's set for September
11th.
Boston Burlington Marriott.
Same. It's really, we've outgrown just about anything else, and certainly you could speak to the history of the Taste of Burlington because you were involved long before I came into the Chamber.
Yeah.
So I've only seen it in the last 5 years or so, and it's made some pretty good strides in that period of time.
Yeah,
But
it has. It's Taste of Burlington sells out for us every year. This year we're celebrating the 10th year, so we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be fabulous. Brilliant. I'm picking brilliant for this year. Brilliant. It's going to, we're so excited about it because you're right, Rick. It was 10 years of that, and then there was a little hiatus between the very first one we did, which for those residents who went, it was on a Sunday afternoon. We called it Dish 05, so it was back in 2005 that we did it. And I remember vividly two things. We almost had to beg restaurants to come because we picked a Sunday, which is hard. You live and learn when you're doing these events. The second thing was there wasn't that much. I mean, there were some restaurants, but certainly not the diversity you have now in Burlington, right?
Yeah.
So between those two things, we struggled. It was a nice event, but it wasn't. God bless the Burlington Marriott, though, because they were there with us then. Jim Capel was running it now, and Mark Young has just become,
been a
phenomenal partner. And they have their own. I mean, look at Chops. Chops is...
Oh, it's fabulous restaurant.
Yeah.
I think with the Taste of Burlington, in years past, we've told some of the restaurants, hey, you better get in earlier. We're going to run out of space in an effort to get them to join and come to the Taste of Burlington. It's the truth now. If they don't get in early, we're restricted to the amount of space we have, and we do sell out with restaurants as well as patrons coming in. But it really is one of my favorite events. It's a chance for us to show exactly what Burlington, the Burlington restaurant scene is about. And for those that don't know, a lot of the reason why the restaurants have come and flocked to Burlington is our daytime population and the high-tech nature of the businesses that are here. We're competing with the inner city for the talent that comes out of Cambridge and the institutions out of Boston. So in order to be able to recruit and retain those employees, you have to have the amenities. So it really plays part of that key in attracting and keeping the employees. What it means to the residents like you and me is, hey, they're here. We don't have to go anywhere. We can go, stay right in town and really enjoy anything that we want to eat.
It's amazing too because for those that kind of keep tabs of local meals tax and things like that, which would be the percentage that the local communities get from a meals tax base. When Burlington first did it in 2009, we estimated that we'd make about $900,000 a year as income for the community. And today that number is $1.7 million. It never was 900,000. That was a conservative number that we thought we would probably make. It tells you huge what you were talking about, which is restaurants in this area are serviced not only by the residential base, but by people from the outside coming in and from the businesses that are here, and that translated to $1.7 million. Will translate to $1.7 million in this tax year.
Yeah, and if you look at the density of the restaurants that are providing that tax base. Where I believe we're 6th in the state, and it's behind Boston, Cambridge, Worcester, Springfield. So as far as when you're talking the size, it's incredible. And we're very fortunate. Certainly you and I have made the circle with the restaurants because we have to approve them before they come to the Taste of Burlington.
It's only right. Yeah.
So we're very happy. We're very lucky.
Yeah, we are very lucky. So Taste of Burlington, September 11th at the Boston Burlington Marriott. They're always good to us there. We have great sponsors that do it. There's VIP rooms and a whole lot of other brilliant things that we're not going to tell you about yet, but it's coming. But keep your eye open for it. If you have never gone you're missing something big, and it does sell out, and we don't sell tickets at the door at this point for that. We try to get everybody to get them, and we run out quickly. BACC Talk is excited to tell you that starting with our next episode, we're going to have a foodie episode, a foodie segment, because it's the right thing to do, I think. We're going to go on location. I'm really excited to do this with Katie. We'll go out, we'll tape and hear from some of the chefs directly. We'll hear from some of the things they do. We have so many great restaurants in this community, and we're really lucky to have them as members of the Chamber of Commerce. So stay tuned for that. You'll see it as the third segment of every show, starting with our next show. And I think it will take us quite a while to get through the restaurant base, because there's that many of them, and they're all that good, and everybody has something to highlight. I feel like every restaurant in Burlington has something to highlight.
And it will really give the viewers an opportunity to see some of the chefs and see just how
caliber.
talented they are.
Yeah.
And they have a passion for it. So this is really going to put them in the spot that they want to be in.
That's right. That's right. We have to taste test it, because
It wouldn't be right if we didn't.
It wouldn't be right. Exactly. Listen, Rick, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm Sonia Rollins with BACC Talk. We will be back again to you next month, and again with a foodie segment for you to enjoy on that. Please join us next month. Please enjoy this show. Thanks again to Rick for coming. Thanks
you
for
for
doing
having me.
everything for the Chamber. And make sure you keep in touch and watch us on the BACC website, which is baccma.org. Thank you. Let me watch this. High five.